what's up, baby? It's Fordee from Can't Stop Art. So actually, we're doing a take two, and we're a little bit further ahead. I had a technical issue that I didn't realize. Not a big deal, though. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a really fancy coaster. I mean, this is quite a thick piece of wood, huh? It started as this, and basically what happened is I got these discs for another project. It came in a pack of 10, and I only needed one. So I have a bunch of these discs, and I'm like, what am I going to do with them? I said, let's make a coaster, yo. Obviously, not as cool as these coasters that I had made of my Sangrata Familia art piece. You can get these on the website. They're €5 each. Buy 5, get 1 free. There's very few remaining, but yeah, go check it out if you like on the website. So the first thing that I did is I took this piece and I painted it a color. In this particular situation, I painted it teal. I don't know if you can see in the background. And I painted the whole thing, the sides, the back, the bottom, everything teal. I did the same thing. This is the one that we're going to work on today. And I'll tell you basically what I did in the previous video where the audio was messed up. And you'll be able to follow along even though you're not going to see me do it, huh? I painted this whole thing this color pink, right? After the paint dried, then I went and I got this tacket. And tacket, let me show you, is basically a repositional adhesive. Basically, when it dries, if you put it to something, you can stick it and then you can lift it, etc. But the idea is you paint it over the sides after I put on tape. And I put a bunch of strips of tape, and then I turn this over. You should put it on a cutting board. I put it on this this palette right here, and you can see there's some score marks because I'm going to throw this palette away soon anyway, or give it away. And what I did is I used an X-Acto blade and I cut around to remove this tape, right? And you'll see in one spot, maybe right here, in this particular spot, you can see I removed a little piece of the wood. I think that's okay. There's glue there. So what do we do next? I let this dry. I'm sitting on one of these. I let it dry. And now that it's dry, what I can do, let's see if we can do this without making too big of a mess, huh? I have more than one paper here, right? Let's see. I think the bigger one would be better, right? I have this big piece of paper right here, and I've got some glitter. I also am going to use, let's see. I'm also going to use something to prop this up. Maybe this tape, right? Or okay, maybe something like that. Not for this moment, though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this glitter. In this particular, I don't know what brand this is for. I think they use this particular brand to do nails, right? When you're painting nails, ladies. There is a little plastic piece here that I'm going to remove. And I'm just going to put it right there for now. And this glitter gets everywhere, right? That's why I have this piece of paper down. It's still going to get everywhere. It is what it is. I'm going to try to pick this up real quick, and I'm going to liberally go ahead and just pour this on the sides, right? Now, when I do this, you notice that stuff is falling off. It's not perfect, and that's okay, right? In fact, I can go like this and bang the wood to get off this excess, because the idea is we don't want this whole thing or too much covered. Now look, I ran out, right? But I didn't. Look at all that glitter I've saved here. So let's move this over on something, and maybe on this right here. And believe me, this glitter gets everywhere, so be careful. I'll move the cap off. I'll fold this paper and try to get it all to the center, right? After I do that, I'm then going to move it because this paper is so big. There's no other reason than this paper is so big that I'm moving it to the smaller paper, right? And bah, look at all that glitter. So, and it doesn't have to go to waste. I can hit this board a little bit. There's still glitter on this paper, so be careful. It depends where you're doing this. Do this somewhere where you can clean up. I mean, I'll vacuum the carpet underneath later, and hopefully that will be okay, huh? I'm gonna fold this up a little bit, fold that up. It's mostly right there. Next, I will move this out of the way, bring this paper back, and let's take this glitter and apply it to this disc, huh? So maybe even if you fold or pinch like an edge right here, you're giving it like a funnel, right? And whatever works for you, you know what I mean? So I'll grab this, and again, this is gonna probably be a couple part process. I'm just coming in here, and I'm making noises, right? Because that's what I do. I'm gonna hit the paper. I'm gonna move this off a little bit. And now with this, I'm going to just bang, and the excess is gonna come off. And that's what I'm trying to do right here, right? Plus there's glitter up here on the tape, who cares? Bang it, pop, 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 pop. Now we have that. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna try to get this in the center-ish. And just lightly tapping will loosen some of the glitter that's not stuck to the paper necessarily, but it is stuck, right? And again, let's do this. Bring the smaller paper, come like this. I don't know if I'm probably blocking the camera, but I'm trying not to make as big of a mess as I normally make. We're gonna move this to the side after kind of welling it up in the center. And again, when we're done, we can dump this excess in this bottle. Try not to throw glitter away, huh? Glitter is bad for the environment. So try to use whatever you have, huh? So I'm sweating here, and I can't have the fan on too loud, otherwise it's gonna screw with the audio. So, all right, here we come. Put this back down. Pinch our little well? It's not a well, but our little space that we want this to travel. I'll try to lift this up a little bit, and again, come over here and wiggle it on, right? Wiggle it on. Any spots that look like they're missing or they could use some, because remember the glue is all over this, right? So again, Now once you finish that, I'm gonna hit this paper a few times to release that glitter. I'm then gonna hit the wood on this particular white piece of paper to knock off some excess, huh? Now put it right here. Try to get some of this off my hands. Problem with glitter is it's impossible not to get everywhere, huh? Look at this. I'm sparkly, yo. Okay, again, we're trying to get this in the center and bouncing it a little bit. You know, being careful, because when you bounce it, it's loosening up the glitter. It also could make it go everywhere. I'm just trying to get it in the center. I'm gonna then transfer it again to this piece of paper, and the reason for that, it will be easier to put in that tube. And just bang it against there, bam, bam. There we go. When you think you've got more or less most of it, do the same thing. Get this in the center, and you see it's going everywhere, huh? It is what it is. So live a sparkly life, yo. All right, so now that it's welled up in the center there, again, we're gonna transfer this back so that we can use that remaining glitter at another point. I'm lightly tapping this paper, and I'm trying to get all this stuff in the center, in there, more or less, huh? So, I'm gonna throw this paper away. I can grab a vacuum, etc. Let me explain what's gonna happen next. So, I'm gonna put this back, and once I stop the video, I can do a little cleanup. My OCD's kicking in, I'm like, ah! So, what we wanna do, I don't even know where to rub without, now I'm getting glitter on my face probably. What we wanna do is I want to spray some acrylic varnish, right? It doesn't have to be gloss, because what we're gonna do after we do this is add some quick acting or quick drying resin, and that's glossy. So if this was matte, it still will look gloss in the end, but whatever, I have the gloss varnish on hand, right? So this stuff smells horrible. You're supposed to do it outside. I'm going to do something I've never done before, huh? And I'm gonna do it right here. With this paper there to block, and just a light spray, huh? And the smart thing would be for me to grab some gloves, and I don't see me having any gloves around. So what I'm gonna do, it's gonna get on my hands. I'm gonna have to wash my hands, right? But I'm just trying to lightly hit that side, and then I'm turning, and again, turning, and just a light spray, huh? Not too much. And after you've done that, put it on something to dry, huh? So I'm just gonna put it here. I didn't spray too much. Obviously, you should have air movement. I do have the fan on super low right now, so some air is moving. but you don't want to breathe this in. It's bad for you. It's super bad for you. So don't do that. I would have done it outside, but which I always do. The only reason I did it right here is because it's very little spray and it's for the video. And to set the camera gear up outside is a pain in the butt. And I don't even know if lazy is the right word. I just figured it would look better. So I'm taking one for the team. I'm dying for you guys. Watch my videos. I would die for you. Anyway, we're gonna let this dry, right? Few hours, 4 hours, 2, 3, 4 hours. It should more or less be dry. At that point, let me show you what we're gonna do. There's a product. Now there's other ones also. I don't get paid by these guys or whatever. I just use this. But and again, I use this for a different reason. So I have it on hand already. This stuff is super expensive. I think it's like 30 bucks. And it comes with 2 bottles. There's a part A, part B. You mix them together, and then you have a time in what you need to use to coat it on. I'll use a brush or a foam brush to do the sides, and then that will dry for another hour. Within 5 minutes, it will be a little bit harder, and it won't drip. But in an hour or 2 hours, it should be fully dry. At that point, we can move forward. Guys, I'll be right back. Hey guys, we're back, and so this thing has been drying for approximately an hour and a half. Probably, if you are more patient, you could let it dry more. But my thought is it's dry enough. I touch it, it doesn't feel wet. We're going to put this resin over it. And so why don't we do that? I have a few things here. I'm going to move some stuff out the way. I have this tiny plastic cup to mix. I have got this little wooden tongue depressor to stir. I have a scale right here. And so any scale will work, ones that use to weigh food or whatever. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. I take this off, and let's get the stuff first. So inside this this box, I mean, it even has mixing stuff, whatever. I'm just going to get everything ready. These are the 2 parts, huh? Next, I'm going to grab a paper towel. Can you grab me a paper towel? But as I'm getting a paper towel, I'm going to tell you, you're going to need a foam brush to apply this because you will throw this away later, right? The reason I'm getting a paper towel is when I mix when I pour this, you want to wipe the top just because you don't want it all sticky or whatever, huh? That's good. So put this here, get this ready. We'll turn the scale on. And the reason you want this to use a scale, you could, of course, eye this. But it's 2 parts to 1 part, huh? The bigger bottle, 2 parts, 1 part of the smaller bottle. So what I do is I put this on, then I press tear on my scale, which will reset it to 0. I'll take the big one, which will come out a lot easier or faster than the small one. And let's put, like right now, that's 7. That's way more than I probably need, right? I'll close this, take this, dry it off, or wipe it off, whatever, huh? Next. It says 7.06 here. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me move closer to the camera. 7.06. So half of that is 3.5, 359, right? 359 plus this would be 10, 5, 6, 5. 10, 6, 5. So let's try to get to 10, 6, 5. And there we go. A little bit over, but that's okay, huh? So I close this. Wipe the top. One of the things is as soon as these 2 chemicals or these 2 resins come in contact with each other, you are now on the clock, huh? You have a certain amount of time before this just heats up way too much, huh? So I'm going to stir this, make sure they're both well integrated with each other. And one thing you can do to slow down the hardening or the useful life cycle of this is not to have it in a cup. If I took some aluminum foil, I could spread it across the aluminum foil. It would get hot slower, huh? Next, I'm going to take this and... Actually, I'm not doing this exactly how I'd like. I'd like something else to protect the table, but I didn't have time to grab another hard piece of paper, so I'm just going to use this, huh? Next, I'm going to take whatever I'm putting underneath this, which I think... It's not going to be that. I think it's going to be this. Well, it's not going to be that, huh? So, I think it's going to be this. There we go. So we'll take this. This will go on top of here. Boom. So I've mixed this up. It's now integrated. If I feel the bottom of this plastic cup, it is getting warmer, huh, to the touch. I have like 4 or 5 minutes max to use this. So I'm going to stop stirring. Don't get it on your table, right? I'm going to use this this sponge, this foam brush to apply it. I'm going to pick this up. I don't need this right now, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to start painting it on, right, with the foam brush. Now again, here I can dab to get it off the foam brush. I can come like this. I'm not worried if I get it on this side because this side will have felt, huh? And on the other side, I'm not worried because it's already taped. So I'm just going to again come here. Boom, like that, right? You don't want to get this stuff on your hands. Be careful. I mean, if you do, you could wash them, obviously, but this stuff does harden. It's not like glue, right? Resin is not like glue. Plus, it doesn't smell very good. Have some ventilation, either a door or a window open, or have a fan blowing. You want to have stuff moving around, right? By the way, I just came back from lunch. I had this nice burger in between that video and you know, the first video and this. So I'm recharged, but I'm also probably sweating a little extra because I was outside for a bit. And yeah, anyways, so I should like wipe my face with the sweat, but instead I'm working on a clock here, right? So again, I told you, I was pretty sure that 10 grams was too much, huh? I didn't need this much. And I could tell because we've already gone over this whole thing once. And again, a light coat, huh? The only reason that we are doing this, right, is to protect that glitter from falling off. And once we do this and this resin hardens, it will not fall off. You'll be able to rub the sides, you'll be able to scrape the sides because this resin is going to create a hard layer above the glitter, and that will keep it safe, huh? From scuffs, this, that, whatever. Now we are still going to varnish this with polyurethane on the top after we paint it, so that you could technically have this outside. It doesn't need to be an indoor coaster. Is there such a thing? Indoor coaster. Yeah, okay. So I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. Please watch these shows so you know when to report me to the insane asylum. Anyways, I'm just going to go over it one more time, going around the sides. I'm now going to move this. I'm going to bring this in. And now, holding down on the top, I'm just going to go around, right? Just make sure I've painted this resin all around it as best I can. And you don't want it to have too much resin in one spot. If you do, what's going to happen? It's going to drip, right? In fact, right now I'll hit it on the bottom. I'm going to press down to release the excess resin that's in this. And the reason I'm doing that is because now I want to wipe the bottom for any possible. It doesn't matter to me if it gets resin on the bottom, again, because I'm going to hit this with that felt, right? The only thing here is getting rid of any drips. Now, I'll take another couple of paper towels because I dabbed a lot of resin there, and I'm going to put this underneath here because this is a bit, it might soak through that paper towel right there at the edge, and I don't want it to go to the table. It will then bond the paper towel to the table, and I have done silly things like that before. Grab a couple of paper towels, dry off my face, and now really this particular resin, obviously not every fast-acting resin is going to be necessarily, I think that most of them would be two-parters, but maybe it would be 1-to-1 ratio, maybe it'll be 2-to-1. So if you're not using Ecstasy 3D and you're using a different fast-acting resin, look at the read, you know what I mean? How long does it take to dry? How long does it take to cure? And I think, anyways, we can start messing with this probably in 2-3 hours, but probably what I'm going to do, we'll see. You know how I don't have any patience. Probably what I'm going to do is just wait until tomorrow. At least I'm going to try. And then tomorrow we'll remove the tape. This thing will be ready to add the felt to the bottom. And then after I add the felt to the bottom, we are going to paint the top. All right, guys, I'll be back. All right, so for the video that didn't want to finish, or I don't know, so many issues, huh? Problems with the audio in the beginning. This is many days later, huh? I was going to do this the very next day when it dried, but things happen. Anyway, so here we are, right? We've got the disc. It's been painted pink on both sides. We added tape to this side. We cut the tape out. Then we added glitter on this side with that glue. Then we put resin over it. So now this glitter is not coming off, huh? Because of the resin on the side, which means we can take this tape off. But before they do that, this is going to be the bottom, and we're going to put black felt on the bottom, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put glue on this. After I put glue on this, then I'm going to apply it to this, and we are going to cut it out. So I've got some of this neutral pH adhesive. You don't have to use this. You can use some other type of white glue. I just happen to have this on hand, and I'm just going to put this on, not too thick, not too thin, and try to get this all in there. There we go. I think that's good. Put this back. I have a cutting mat right here, and we're going to use this cutting mat because we're going to cut it with an X-Acto blade, right? So I'm going to find a part of this that maybe right here where I'm not going to go over like creases and stuff like that. Maybe put this up in there. I'm going to press down hard as I can, and then let me grab that X-Acto blade. Boom. Got the X-Acto blade. And what I want to do is I want to trace around the bottom while pressing quite hard to make sure I'm cutting that. And then I could come up like this, get rid of that, come over here. See, this is the challenge, huh? You don't want to cut the wood. And I suppose that's the biggest challenge here when you are cutting this. And also you might have little frays. I don't know if you could see this right here, huh? I apologize for the loudness outside, huh? They're doing construction, you know, as it's like a 10-month project to open a restaurant. It is absolutely ridiculous, huh? I mean, I think they can build skyscrapers in that amount of time. But yeah, and I don't think it's COVID because it started way before COVID, huh? Anyways, cutting that away, come down here, pull that. We're almost done. Boom. Now, can clean it up a little bit, because if you see parts that are frayed a bit, you can clean it up. There we go. Get some of this off. Maybe, yeah, it looks like a little more cleanup is needed, huh? And again, depends how sharp your X-Acto blade is. This is sharp, but it's not. It probably, I've used it for a while, so probably could replace it. That would have made this easier. But I think by adding this, number one, by adding this felt on the bottom, it makes it look a little more finished. I think it makes it look much more professional. You can see right here, maybe you can clean that up a bit. Some parts I cut further in than others. But for the most part, that's good, huh? As long as you keep pressure on this, it's going to dry, and it's going to stay there. So this is not dry yet, but before we do that, let's take off this tape. Normally, this tape should have already been taken off, and the reason for that is the resin up here, huh? So I don't know if that's going to create a problem. I hope it does not, but let's see, huh? You can see right there, it pulled the resin. It came off fine, but let's see, huh? So far, I don't even want to say it, right? So far, we're doing okay. But ideally, you want to take this off when the resin's dry, but it hasn't like been dry for days, because that's the resin is definitely at its hardest point days later. And but it looks like it's coming off okay, huh? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint on top of this. Let's see, might have to come from this direction. We're gonna paint on top of this. I think instead of doing like this, I don't know, zebra style pattern, maybe what we will do is like a cheetah pattern, right? Like one of the big cats, the cheetah. I think that should look cool. And what I got here is I have a red and a purple paint. I'm gonna create some dabs on there, some spots, I don't know. And then I will draw in the black for the cheetah like spots. And after I do that, I will then add some glitter. And then once I do that, I will hit it with varnish a few times, and we'll call it done, huh? And now one of the things that you can notice here is the wood itself. You can see the wood grain, but I think it's going to matter much less. We could have hit it with another coat to make sure you didn't see it, but it's going to be busy, huh? Just like this one. And I think with that busyness, you're not going to notice the wood grain, and it would have been extra work for no reason, huh? But who knows? Maybe afterward we'll say, damn, we should have hit it with a second coat. So I don't know. You are going to make that own call yourself. But yeah, this came out clean, huh? And even technically, could leave it there. We could hit it with some varnish, or actually I didn't hit it with varnish, I hit it with polyurethane. And the polyurethane made it so that technically this could be used indoor and outdoor. However, with the felt here and the bottom not necessarily protected, this is an indoor item. But if I hit it with the polyurethane on both the front and the back, then this could be outside and it wouldn't get damaged by the elements, rain, etc., etc. Right, so okay, this came out pretty nice. Let's move the cutting board. We don't need that for anymore. And what we want to do is let's paint some spots. I have a reference here on my phone, something to this effect. And I'm going to take a palette here. And with this palette, I'm then going to put some paint. I apologize, lots of noise outside today, huh? We'll see how much my denoiser removes it. Hopefully you don't notice it too much. We don't need a lot of paint. In fact, that's probably too much, huh? But that's okay. We'll take these two paints, we'll put them over here. This is acrylic paint, right? Not even expensive, huh? This is the standard series from Amsterdam. I've got a little bit of water here. Not that you really need to water it down, but just to make the paint move a little bit. And all I'm thinking is coming in here, and maybe there's too much water on my brush right now. I'm going to come in here and paint on some areas like so. And I think what we'll do is when we add glitter, hopefully I have more clear glitter, we will add it over, I don't know if we add it over the black or the color, huh? Maybe we add it over these splotches of purple and red that I'm putting on, right? And we are going to have to pause the video again, although I promise I'm going to try to finish. Well, you're not going to know when I finish, but I'm going to try to finish this by tomorrow. This should not have taken this long, but and also another thing you'll notice here is I want to come to the edge, but I want to be careful, huh? Because I don't want to paint the glitter on the side, but I do want to get to the edge, huh? Something like this. And actually, maybe what I'm going to do, maybe this needs to dry, huh? Because I want the red to overlap some of this purple. So it's going on pretty light, which means that I'll be able to put it in front of the fan or something, get it to dry pretty quick. It is acrylic after all. Doesn't dry as fast as watercolor, but should dry fairly quickly. And I think what I'm going to do is overlap the red. Something like this. Again, I'm not even necessarily looking at that reference at the moment. I got the gist of what I was going for. And now I'm just, painting on these little pieces of color. If you notice, I'm not getting the glitter on the side. I don't know how well I showed that, but I'm just trying to paint in some corners to make it look like this pattern extends beyond the piece, this coaster. But yeah, maybe put one over here, something like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause the video. We're gonna come back after this dries. I'm gonna clean this brush. Hopefully this red acrylic is not dry. Once the coaster dries, then we're gonna add that on. We'll let that dry. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so we're back. To stay consistent with my theme of lack of patience, we're gonna move ahead. It's more or less dry. Some of the thicker areas have a bit. One of the things I want to note is you see there's some areas where the paint is not solid. But I think, you know what, that's gonna look cool. Because what I'm going to do is I'm gonna paint some of the red in those spots, and all I'm gonna do is paint some red next to the purple in most spots, maybe some lines going through, and then we'll worry about the outlines that make it look like a cheetah, right? So yeah, let's get moving on that. I have my brush here. We'll get a little bit of water on it, try to get the excess off. Then I'm gonna grab some of this paint. I'm gonna load up the brush, and let's just start working on it, right? And we ideally, we probably don't want this to be too thick anywhere anyway, right? Because the reality is when this is dries, of course it loses some of the volume because acrylic is like, it's going to lose at least, what, 30–40% due to water content, right? But we don't want it to be raised because the reality is this is going to be a coaster, right? To put drinks on it. So, of course, we can sand it later. We're going to try not to have to do that. And yeah, let's just see how this ends up turning out, right? And it doesn't have to be on all of them. I mean, I'm pretty OCD about stuff like that, but it's up to you, you know. It could be any pattern that you want. In fact, you don't have to do a cheetah or a zebra. You can do some other type of animal or pattern. It could even be a mandala, a mandala or some type of geometric pattern. That would be cool too. I just think, you know, taking these steps, and even some of them like this one, maybe we could go on this side too, right? And we're going to come over here and just dab, dab, dab. There we go. Come over here, maybe right there. And then after I've gotten all of these with a little bit of red, right there, I might have touched the glitter a little bit, but I think it's okay. Then maybe we will try to add some lines or spots in here, huh? I don't know which one will look better. Let's see if we can load up this brush. Let's see if we can get something like this, right? Coming there. That doesn't have to be perfect. And just more interest. Remember that this is going to then have those black lines, and those black lines or black spots are what's going to tell you that this is a cheetah. Not necessarily this. I mean, cheetah doesn't necessarily look. First of all, it doesn't have pink, red, or purple, right? But we're trying to make this look unique, so strange. And when we add the black spots and the glitter, it's going to look funktastic, right? And you'll be proud to serve a drink in your house on something like this. You'll be like, hey, check out my coaster. Come over to the house. Let me pour you a beautiful beverage, especially on a hot, sunny day, you know, because you're a good host. You know what I mean? So here we go. Something like that. And in this situation, I don't know exactly what lines I'm doing. Like this one is not connecting necessarily to anything. Some of these are connecting to more than one thing. You know, whatever looks good to you, huh? So maybe in this one, we'll come here. So this one is all connected. None of these seem to be connected here. Maybe we'll do this to there. And let's call this what it is. It's crazy. But also, let's call it done for now. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. We're going to come back. When this is fully dry, we will add the black spots. At that point, after the black spots, we add glitter, and then maybe we end up touching up, or maybe we add glitter next. The thing is, I don't want glitter with the black spots, so I think I have to do that first. We'll be back. Okay, so we're back, and this is dry, huh? There are some raised surfaces. I don't know. We're going to see how it is. Once it's all dry, I put the polyurethane on. If it's flat or needs to be sanded, we'll figure it out at that point, huh? But now let's draw in the traditional cheetah spots, baby. So I have some black here. I'm going to put some down. Yeah, that's probably too much, huh? Let's wet the brush. Let's get that excess water off. Let's load up the brush. And let's see. Okay, so looking good. Now I think what we want to do is come here. We want to make some dots, then some stuff like this, right? And some stuff like this. Some stuff like what? And then some other spots will just be like this. Some other ones will be like this. And we are trying to make this opaque, huh? We don't want it to show through where the black is. So let's just try some different things here. And I think that cheetah spots are not exact, you know what I mean? So we need to do stuff like this, and maybe there's like that. Then we come over here like this. And again, some of them are not connected or not big circles, right? And some maybe don't even have a dot, right? So again, we're just coming in here, we're playing with it, we're seeing what we come up with, and this goes like this, and maybe there's a dot there. Let's turn this beautiful coaster to the side. We'll come over here and we will make a something like that. Then over here, let's put this in the center and let's come around, right? Like something like that. I don't know, right? I think there's no right or wrong here, right? We're just making these spots, right? That are infamous for that cheetahs be having. Look at my English, stellar, yo. Anyway, so how's everyone's week going? Maybe this one has a dot right there. And maybe here we're just having a spot like that. Then this one comes here, and this one comes around like this. And then here, maybe we just go, and this one doesn't connect to anything. Maybe here we have another one with a spot right there, something like that. And again, you want it to go off the edge, right? Otherwise, what was the pattern only in the disc? No, it's not, right? So again, we'll put a dot right there, and then like something like that. Some of them thicker than others, maybe just like this. We'll come down in here and maybe something like that. A little smaller dot right here. Here, maybe 2 dots. Because why not, right? Who says that cheetah doesn't have that, right? I think this should look pretty cool when it's done, huh? At least that's the hope. So this, and maybe these 2 spots touch. Are they allowed to touch? I don't know. Where are my cheetah experts at? We'll put that in there. And this one we are going to make like this, something like that. With no spot or no dot. This one a spot or a dot. Spot or a dot. That could be a song, right? Based on today's music, which I swear just keeps going down, right? Spot or not. That could be a top 40 hit, right? You heard it here first, guys. Do I get any of the proceeds if that spot or not or hot? It's amazing. I crack myself up. You know what I mean? Maybe not everybody else is laughing, but I am, right? And so come here, we're going to put a dot there. This one, let's put this spot right there, but then let's create the dot or the spot around it, right? Oof, and then we hit the glitter right there, and that's okay. Let's not get crazy and worry about these things. And this one, without the dot or the spot, I mean, it sounds catchy, right? Anyways, maybe that's done, huh? So let's leave it here. I'm going to let it dry. What we'll do then is what I did here is this is actually a clear glitter, huh? I put that clear glitter over stuff, and then I re-outlined it, and then I hit it with the polyurethane. So let's do that. Probably, maybe do we add the glitter to the color or to the spots? I'm thinking maybe originally I was thinking the color, but now I'm thinking the spots. Let's add a clear glitter to the spots. It should still show through underneath the black. I won't use too much glitter. We'll be right back after this dries. Booyah! Okay, so we're back. Let's move some stuff. We're getting some shadows from these lights, huh? So here we are. We've got this puppy. It's dry. I think there's one little spot that maybe not totally. I don't know where it is, or maybe it is, huh? So what I have here, this is the clear or the white glitter, huh? It's UV glitter, so it will look cool under the black light. What we're going to do is we are going to mix it in this small little cup here with a tongue depressor, or my standard mixing device, and I have Liquitex pouring medium here, huh? Okay, the idea is that you want to have enough medium, but not too much, based on how much glitter that you're going to put, right? And when I take off this little protective piece right here, then I could just pour it all in, huh? Because I think we will use it all. And hopefully I don't have too much too much medium in there. We'll see as I stir this. I have pretty good idea. It's pretty thick right now. We can just add a little bit more. The idea is for it actually to be fairly thick. And let me see if I could bring this under the camera after I mix it, just to show you kind of what it looks like, the consistency, right? So there we go. You see the glitter everywhere. It doesn't look like the glitter is sparse, if you will. You know, you want to, because if there's too much pouring medium, then the glitter is not going to show up like it does in this disc, right? So next, we are looking for a brush that I don't care about, which this one is super frayed. I usually use it for stuff like this. And yeah, so I'm going to take this stirring or the tongue depressor out. Let's move this paper towel over here. And we can fold it up. We're going to pull the side to get the excess off. And there we go. And we want to work fairly quickly, right? So we dip the brush inside here, and we are just going to outline the dark or the black here, right? And we don't want it to be too thick. We don't want it to be too thin. Remember that it will lose some of its volume when it dries, right? So I'm going to come here. And actually, I'm going to stop talking and just do this. And I'll speed it up in post when I'm doing the editing because, yeah, you don't need to hear me talk through this. You get the gist of it. You're just dabbing it or laying it down over the parts that are black. You don't want it to be too thick. You don't want it to be too thin. And trial and error. Obviously, I've done this many times. I like to put glitter in some of my pieces, so I have a feeling or an idea. Now, some of this might dry raised, right? But again, when we put that polyurethane, we're going to see how it is, if we need to sand, or maybe let's just see what it looks like, right? So, because I think I'm going a little bit too thick in some of these spots. So, anyways, I will continue to do this without talking so I can speed it up later. Amazing. I don't know if you saw that, but my hand slipped and a gunk of glitter landed right where I would have wanted it to, right? Now I could pick some up by taking some of this off the brush and then dabbing again to pick some of that up if it was too thick. And for sure, some of this is going to dry raised, but maybe if enough of it does, then it still has a sturdy platform for your cups. One of the other things you might notice is, okay, I'm staying in the lines more or less, but I'm not that worried about it because as I'm doing this, what I'm thinking in my head is, you know what? Let's outline it in black after we do this. And or maybe let's see how it dries. Maybe it dries and I say it doesn't need an outline. I don't know yet, but yeah, so back to this and I will come back when I finish. All right, so we finished that up. I'm going to wipe the brush. I need to clean it quite quickly because this pouring medium dries quite fast. We had enough glitter, it turns out, so that's pretty cool. We'll see when it dries. I'll be back, and we'll see if we outline it in black or we leave it like this. Yo, so we're back, and yeah, from a dentist appointment, huh? Anyway, so let's move on. This is now fully dry. If I put my hand, finger, whatever, on top, this is dry. And I think what I'd like to do is outline it in black, huh? I could use a Posca marker, which is what I did on this one, but I think it's going to look nicer with paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some black acrylic paint. I'm going to put it in this tiny shot glass plastic cup. After I do that, I have some water still right here. Excuse me. And what I can do with this water is then bring this over. Let's move this out of the way for a second. And I can take, now I would normally do this at the bathroom. I wouldn't necessarily take an eyedropper. I'm just doing it so you could see, huh? So let's take some of that water. Let's mix it in here. And what I want is a little bit more of a less viscosity, right? I don't want it to be so thick. So maybe a little less than that. This way it glides on, it paints really cleanly. And yeah, so let's move this out of the way. That's probably okay. Let me stir it, totally get all that water incorporated in the paint. Whenever you mix water with paint like this, you want to make sure that you really stir. When you stir for a little bit, it starts to incorporate a little bit, but you really need it fully incorporated so you don't have any puddles of water in here or you don't want the paint to run smooth, huh? So, okay, let's grab a paper towel real quick. And the reason for the paper towel is because I don't have a trash can next to me, and I want to take this tongue depressor out of here, and I think that's more or less good, huh? So, I had my teeth cleaned while I was waiting for this to dry. Not that it was necessarily planned like that, right? Anyway, so what we're going to do is we are going to outline all of these cheetah spots on this coaster with black. After that dries, we'll put polyurethane. So I'm going to come in here, and maybe what we'll do, I do have this palette here, and it's the palette is mostly just to make sure that there's a lot of paint incorporated into the brush, but also get off some excess. And now when I paint, let's move this out of the way actually, it should be that I can paint some really nice lines, and not too fat, not too skinny. There we go. And what I'm trying to do is outline this and make sure that it comes on thick enough so that you don't see through it. Let's see. And maybe if I just leave it thick on the brush like that, that might be better. And the lights that I have for the video, they're kind of in my eye right now, so it's hard for me to see. I mean, it's not that I can't see, but I can't see exactly. And I'm bringing it a little closer to myself, so it's not as much in the video, which is, I'm sorry about that, but I need to see exactly how the paint's going on, And when I'm looking at this, I'm realizing a lot of that background with the purple and the red is going to go away, So I think the smart idea here is to paint a little bit on top of the glitter so we keep more of that background, Let's come here. And anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking right now because I'll speed this up in post. You don't need to hear me talking talking the whole time, watching me paint this. I mean, obviously, this is not necessarily rocket science. You know, just be gentle and do an outline around it if you are going for the same look that I'm going for here. And so, yeah, I'll be back. All right, so let's put the brush off to the side here. What are my thoughts before we take a break for it to dry? The first things first, if you look at this one, I used the thick Posca marker, so the outline's pretty thick, which is why I went with this thick brush. However, if you want my final thoughts before we even finish this, I for sure would have used a smaller brush, right? Maybe, anyways. I don't know which one. Right here, I'm looking for one that's small, and I have, but I would use a much smaller brush to use more detail and make a finer outline. This is too thick for my taste, but I was trying to get it to match more of this. Even though they're not the same color, they don't match, but with all the glitter and the fact that they both have felt and glitter on the sides, I thought it would be cool that they're kind of similar. I'm just making these two, So let's let this dry. When it dries, I will come back. I will hit it with polyurethane. Yo, so we are back, and the black now has dried the outline. You see, boom. Anyway, so let's finish this puppy. What we are going to do is I have this varnish, right? But this is like a polyurethane. It's without color, and it's a gloss, So it comes in this thing. We need to shake it up. But a few things, when you use something like this is not water-based, you need something to clean this, right? And I got this stuff called Clean Spirit. This is a safer alternative to white spirit, but it's also a better alternative to turpentine, right? So you need some type of cleaner. I brought this just to show you in the video. Obviously, I'm not going to clean the brush right now. Plus, keep in mind, no matter how well you clean it, anyways, this was actually just cleaned. It was sitting in the cleaner. I forgot to clean it. Anyway, so no matter how well you clean it, you are going to ruin your brush for anything that you use that is not a water-based varnish. That being said, let's move this puppy out of the way, right? We have this here. In order to open one of these cans, you are going to need a screwdriver. The screwdriver is a bit thick, right? So you just put it in here, you turn it a bit, right? And you make your way around this. I'm excited because this thing's almost finished, right? By tomorrow, when it dries, we will do the final part of this video. And finally, right? A few things that I noticed or I thought about is for sure I should have just done this whole video and not talked and record my audio later, because this video is going to be way too long. What is this mallet for? This mallet is to put the top back on, so it's here, whatever. And yeah, so why don't we take this over here? And then this stuff smells, huh? So have some air moving. I have a fan going on in the room that it's in, and I'm going to take, let's put this on this side because this light I think is casting a serious shadow. I need to fix that, huh? And let's just come here. And when we come with this beautiful varnish, we're gonna paint this on, and we are just gonna get the top. And you can notice that all of a sudden it's bringing everything together, huh? You're really getting glossy. The smell is absolutely, I don't know, horrible is probably the right word. And yeah, let's just go around the sides. We're trying to be careful. I don't want it to drip too much where the glitter is on the side, but you don't want it too thick on the top. Let's grab a paper towel here, and when we do, that's just to get the excess varnish that's on the brush, huh? Because like I said, I don't want this dripping off to the side. And if you look here, it's clear, huh? So we're gonna come around. We're gonna just make sure that this puppy has made it to the edges. And now it's okay if we brush the top of this around to make sure that there's no drips. That's fine. Again, we're gonna come one more time. Bada bing, bada boom, right? So we have this here. We're gonna put this here for now. I do have a cup in the other room next to the bathroom where I'm gonna pour this to make sure that I clean the brush. I will also take this, and I'm not gonna do this right next to the microphone, ba, 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 but that's how I'm gonna close this. So this is where we're at. The varnish really brings it all together. I'm gonna let this dry. I will put another coat on in a couple hours. I'm not gonna video that, but tomorrow, when it's all dry, I'll do one more video, and then hopefully we are going to release this video tomorrow. And in the future, I'm not going to talk while I do it. I will just record me doing everything. I think that's the better way, no? What do you think? Leave it in the comments. All right, guys, I'll be back when this is dry for final thoughts. Yo, so we're back. Today's the next day. We've got a second coat of polyurethane on top of this coaster. For the most part, it is raised a little bit here and there, but it's kind of almost uniformly raised, right? So for example, we drop a cup on this. You could drop a bottle, like a big bottle of wine or something, and it would be fine. It's sturdy as can be, huh? One of the things that I noticed, and I have this one upside down for a reason, huh, is that some of this, I don't know how well you could see, is lifted, huh? And I did a good job. It's more or less on, but the same thing was true of this one. Now let me show you what I did to this one last night, and then I'll start this, and yeah. So what I did is I took this. It's only sitting on this little, this I guess is another coaster, huh? What I did is I took this, this is white glue, and I put it here, and I used my finger to rub, and I tried to make sure the glue didn't get too much on the bottom, because it does make this hard, huh? So you have to make a judgment call here. Do you how flat do you want this to be? Because you can't lift this anywhere now. However, I also noticed it changed the color just a little bit. You could see, right, in the bottom where I put this glue very lightly, and then I use my finger or whatever. And for the most part, the bottom is fine, but it feels a little more, I guess, jagged. You wouldn't want to necessarily, I suppose it's okay, huh? But yeah, I guess that's something you have to decide. Do you want the bottoms to be perfect? I'm going to do it on this one just to show you what I did. I went in and took this. We can put this aside for a second. I took my piece of glue here, right? Or my thing of glue. I have it upside down because it's running out of glue. And yeah, that's a lot. We don't need that much for sure. And what I did is I came here and I just went like this, right? And I don't want a lot. I just want a little, and that's way too much, huh? But it seemed like it changed the color of hair. I'm not a fan of that, but I suppose another option is to re-hit it with some resin or something. But this is going to make it so that this adheres to the bottom, this, and there's no lifts, huh? The glue will dry white, obviously. I'm gonna put this down for a second, grab a paper towel because I had to keep doing this to get the glue off my fingers because I'm using my fingers to put this on, huh? And so, actually it came out a little bit better yesterday. And I have this upside down because it's almost empty. I actually have a big thing of it, so I could refill it. I just haven't done it yet because, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't want that. So, yeah, let's just lightly put it here. And again, this is just to make sure that this felt adheres on the bottom, huh? Again, we'll hit the paper towel. We'll come back over here and let's see if we could just get a little bit of it out. I mean, this is like surgery, right? You got to be careful. I'm just, see, and it lifts quite a bit right there, huh? So I could like kind of put it underneath there. I could come here. Let's add some more before I put the glue down. Bam, something like this. And now, see that you're going to say, well, wait a second, how are we going to make sure that this presses down? And I'm going to show you what I did just to make sure that it adhered. Even places like this, we want to get inside. Hopefully you're seeing this. We want to get underneath inside, right? So again, I'm going to bring my finger back here. Well, more than one finger because I end up getting too much glue. And I guess, you know, what I probably could do is continue with this glue. Here we are doing acrobatics, right? So I'll come back over here and ba-ba-ba. However, I like putting a little bit more new glue because when I'm doing this, I'm not getting the same level of control if I had brought it from this bottle, right? So again, I maybe rub my fingers to get that excess glue off. Then I'm going to come here and we are going to try to put just a little bit right there, right there, right there, right there, ba, 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 ba. Put this down and something like this, right? Now, after this happens, obviously it looks super, super nice, super cool. When I put the polyurethane, I'm sorry, that's right next to the microphone, right? When I put the polyurethane, what happened is it kind of made the contrast of all the colors the higher, right? The blacks got darker, the colors pop more, so definitely looks super cool. I'm holding this up so you can see it. However, what we're going to need to do is turn this upside down, put it on something, right? I put it on that coaster, and then I took a piece of wax paper, right? This is a baking paper, right, that you use in your oven. Because there's wax on it, the glue's not going to stick to it. Then take something heavy, like I have this book right here. For those that you don't know, in my spare time, I love to spearfish, huh? And basically what I did is I did this overnight, and the next day it was like this other one right here. I'm going to show you real quick. Boom. And so again, look at this. You can't lift it on the bottom. It did make it a little more jagged. Maybe I could come in here and sand it if I want, but I really think it's done, right? I'm gonna pick this up. Obviously I need to let it dry, but I'm gonna pick it up just to show you one more time what this beautiful coaster looks like. And again, it's not gonna stick to the wax paper, so that's kind of cool. But here it is, right? I mean, it can sit like this for a little bit. The reason we wanna put the weight on it is to make sure that it adheres in the edges, etc. Guys, I hope you like the tutorial. For sure, one of the things I believe after doing it, this is about an hour long, is it should be shorter. I should just do all the steps and record my voice of what I'm doing. However, you'll get a little bit less. Maybe I won't talk about certain things that I'm experiencing because I won't think of it in the moment when I'm recording the audio after the fact. But what do you think? Should I have broken this down into two parts, a part one, part two, 30-minute videos? Or was this hour video fine? Or should I then, cut it into a 10-minute video, sped up, talk about the different things in a highlight kind of situation? What do you prefer? I also hope you like the new opener for Can't Stop Art's YouTube, and I appreciate you watching this video, especially if you watched to the end. I've got another video coming in a few days. Thanks a lot, guys. Until next time, I'm out.